president is waving off criticism of high-ranking administration officials who appear to have added a journalist to a group chat about war plans. We've also learned last month the National Security Agency was warning people about this app, which they use to discuss the strike on Houthi targets in Yemen. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, good morning to you. What else can you tell us about this NSA memo warning staff about using Signal, this encrypted app that we all know so much about now?
Yeah, so the National Security Agency issued this memo in late February. And late February. And in essence, it's saying, look, because of its increased popularity and because it's a commercially available app, there's a risk in potentially using it. It basically says it would become a high-value target to intercept sensitive information. And you start reading through the do's and don'ts on here, and among other things, it says, set up your privacy and security settings, change your PIN periodically to ensure that someone can't break into it, which is a debatable piece of advice. But then among other things, it says, don't establish connections with people you do not know. Understand that people are not always who they say they are online. So you're now seeing, there it is, and you're now seeing National Security Advisor Mike Waltz suggest that somehow Jeffrey Goldberg was added to this chat or somehow was able to get onto it himself. That's not how Signal works. You have to be actively added by somebody in the group or by the group's creator in order to be part of that group chat. So questionable what exactly he's suggesting, how it is that Goldberg's number got on here. But notable that literally, in the midst of all this, the NSA and later the Pentagon were issuing advisories to staff saying it could be at risk of foreign interference. Yeah, really noteworthy, Ed. I'm curious what the reaction has been to the president's new executive order requiring proof of citizenship to vote. Well, I think we're going to get more of it today, Errol. These executive orders have a way of being signed in the afternoon amid a flurry of other activity, and it takes usually a day or so for the various groups to absorb what it is he's done. It's likely going to face some kind of a legal challenge, as have previous attempts to add that proof of citizenship to voting rolls, the argument being that it can potentially put some people out or make it more difficult for them to vote. Not that they aren't citizens, but that they may not have the proof to show it, and you don't necessarily need to bring that, the argument goes. So we'll see. But this, of course, is part of his ongoing push to deal with the fallout of the 2020 elections, which he still falsely claims was rigged and stolen from him. And is an example of something that Republicans across the country have been pushing for, proof of citizenship when voting. And let me also ask you about this, Ed. Vice President JD Vance announcing that he will join his wife, Second Lady Usha Vance, on a trip to Greenland. Why is that? Well, he says it's because he didn't want her to have all the fun. What it does signal, though, is that the U.S. is increasingly trying to sort of pressure or badger Greenland and, by a broader extent, Denmark into, going along with what it is the United States wants out of that place. Remember, it is part of Denmark, not entirely. It's not independent. It is geographically situated in a spot that is of interest and concern to the Americans. There is a military base there that Vance and his wife are going to visit. Initially, she was going with one of their sons. They were going to go to a dog sled race. It's unclear if they're still doing that. But he now becomes the most senior U.S. official to visit since the president began suggesting, even before he was president, late last year, that he believes that Greenland should come under U.S. control or at least bigger U.S. influence. This is something not welcomed by Greenland's leaders, nor by Denmark's leaders, who believe it's a escalation, a bit of a provocation, and that they believe the rest of the world should be stepping up and saying more about what it is the U.S. may be up to here. I know we'll continue to watch this closely. Ed, thank you very much. Take care.